Listen, anything having to do with kitchens, he Naftali likes, which I tell you. Okay, so we are uh hold on.
Kuf Tzadi
Okay, so
Gimel Vav.
Kuf Tzadi Gimel Vav, and we're going till
The end of the simon.
we finished this what? Oh yeah,
It,
all right. We got up to Vav last night until the end of the Simon. That's one.
that's the one, yeah. And the second one will be Kuf Tzadi Daled Aleph through Yud Aleph.
Okay. So Hilchos Bikur Chaylim, Stif Vav. Saying Lita in the Chasam Matana Lacherim, you shouldn't give your belongings as a matana to others, Vafilu Tzedakah, and even to Tzedakah Laniach as a Yarshim Kach. And to basically and to leave your inheritors with nothing. That is not the proper thing to do. Meaning, don't. We've had, there's many machlokes that happen from because, like, when there's a will as a relative. So here he's saying, do not do that. Don't leave everything to tzedakah, not leave anything to your kids. So anybody does this, that is not the ruach hamakom, meaning the Rabban Shalom is not going to be happy with you. Even, and that says, even if your inheritors are not good people, still you should give them some money. But if you give enough to the Yarshim, enough that would suffice, I guess, to support them, I don't know exactly for how long, then it's mutter. Not only is this the I don't know if it's called a mitzvah, but a requirement on the person giving over the Yerusha, but you shouldn't be it's a midas chasidus not to sign on such a will either. Right? And this is don't be an aid, don't meaning basically the kids are saying don't get involved in this type of situation, even if the meaning even if hold on a second, I will try. Right, so yeah, he's saying it's like a vamas over here a little bit. He's saying that even if the money is going to be taken away from a son who's not legit and given over to the person who dies brother, who's a chacham and everything, meaning, so that sounds like that's a legitimate thing to do. Even so, don't get involved. Why? Because you don't know. Perhaps he's going to have good kids. Right? So Mamela is going to have good kids. So why, if you don't, then the father's not going to end up supporting his kid, but meaning his grandkids. Granted, so the son is not good, or maybe the son's kids will be good. And even to give a little to this one and more to this one, meaning even to split up your kids, to give to the ones that you like more than the ones that you don't like, etc., is also not proper. Fine. Now that's obviously excluding the regular dinam of Yerusha, which is that boys get everything, girls get nothing, the Bechor gets double, etc. Fine. Zayin. Let's say he has young kids, or he has young kids and older kids. So his wife is pregnant. He has to appoint an apotropos, what do you call it? Not an executor. Is executor? What do they call those? There's another word. Okay, whatever.
Guardian?
A guardian. Yeah, that would probably be better. She yisasik b'shvil katanim ad sheyigdilu, so they can be busy with the finances of the katanim until they grow up. Ches chayla shemavakish lasis kabbalas kinyan lechazik es tatzava. If the chayla wants to do a kabbalas kinyan, meaning he wants to pick up the pen, what we do with the rav from mechiras chametz and what a chassan does and all those type of things, kind of menu afilu b'Shabbos, then you're allowed to do it even on Shabbos. That's how important it is, because you want to make sure the chayla has yishuv adas. You don't want to make him stressed out. Same thing if he wants to send things to his relative, meaning he wants his relatives to come, then you're allowed to rent. You can hire a guy and to go tell the relatives that they have to go to visit their dying relative. All right, fine. Test, and again, that's because the yishuv adas of a chayla is so important. Test chayla shemeis lemeis. So let's say the chayla has somebody who died. Ein ma'adiyan like, do not let the chayla know about this. This, unfortunately, is also fairly common. Shalai titrav daitei love. You don't want to mess with his das. Afilu naideloi ein naideloi lekroya. And even if he finds out about it, we don't tell him to tear kriya. Why? Shema tigdal daigosa. Because if you tell him to tear kriya, then it's going to even cause him more stress. Vein baichin, vein maspidim in front of. You don't cry and you don't say haspedim in front of him. Vein al mesa, vein al mesa acher. Whether it's on his mace or on another mace. Even if it's not a relative. Because then he's going to start getting scared that maybe he's going to die. Mashtikin a menachem in front of it. Anybody that comes in and starts being menachem him about death and all that, we quiet them up so that they don't freak him out. I actually had somebody, never, the tough shayla, a woman whose daughter, they give her either from 2 weeks to 2 months to live. And her mother, meaning the chayla's mother, chayla's grandmother lives in Eretz Yisrael, has no idea that the granddaughter has been sick for years. So now they don't know what to do. Should they warn her that that she's sick, meaning to ease her into the situation, or should they just wait and hopefully she won't find out about it, and she has a heart condition. So as a rough shiloh, but that's what the Kitzur is talking about, because you can't freak out a chayla. It's very dangerous. Fine. Yud ein mevakim lo chaylim me'ayim mishum kisufa. You're not supposed to do bikur chaylim to somebody who has intestinal issues because it's embarrassing for him. Probably because I'm assuming it means because this diabetes smells and that type of thing. But and not somebody who has an eye disease, and not somebody who has headaches. Why? Because talking can cause these people to be agitated. Any chayla that the world is, it literally means the world is grabbing him, meaning it's very difficult. And he can't speak. You're not mevaker him in front of him. What you do is you go to the outer room, the shaylin, the darshan boy in tzarach le'zedavar. You go and you ask and you check up on them and see what's going on. V'shaym and tzarah, and you hear tzar of action of rachamim. And like we said yesterday, that's one of the big mitzvahs of bikur chaylim is to daven on behalf of the chayla. So you go there, but you don't go inside because going inside will just make it harder, make the chayla harder for him. Yud Aleph. So let's say 2 mitzvahs to do. You don't have time, do both. You got a mitzvah to do bikur chaylim, to visit the sick, or you want to go to a levaya. Right? So Avelim Kaidim, then Nichum Avelim comes first. Shehu Shu Gemilas Chesed Machayim B'Mamesim. Right? Also very interesting point. Going to be Menachem Avel is actually doing chesed with both people that are alive and are dead, because there's a tayelis for the neshama if people go be Menachem Avel, and there's obviously a tayelis for the people that are sitting shiva. So therefore, you got a 2-for-1 deal. Mashenki Bikur Chaylim only gives you one, right? And then they quote here from Ramesha. The Ramesha saying that this din only applies if there's other people that are available to take care of the chayla. But if there's nobody available to take care of the chayla, then Bikur Chaylim comes first. Yud Beis V'Vakar Chayla Akum B'nei Darkei Shalom. You can visit Chayle Akum, somebody who's a guy, because you want to keep the peace. Yud Gimel, Tanya, Rabbi Nassan Amar Eshma HaNefesh Ahi V'Svadu. It says, and that the person's going to be an asham, he's going to do something wrong, and he's going to do vidu. That this is we learn out from this pasuk that everybody who's going to be dying should do vidu. Anybody who does a vidu will have a chelik b'olam haba. Shekain matzinu ba'achan Amar Yeshua, that Yeshua told Achan, B'ni Simnoch covered Lashem Elekei Yisov, send like Taida, Baganali Ma'asisa, Al Tichar Mimeni, Bayan Achan as Yeshua, Yom Omna Noichi Chatasi, Chazais Asisi. We had this in Sanhedrin in the Daf. But so Achan was a bad guy, and Yeshua got him to at least do some sort of tshuva. I mean, I should keep a leviduya. And how do we know that it worked? That he had a kapara shenemar vayomer Yeshua ma kartanu yarkef Hashem b'yom hazeh. What did you ruin? And that Hashem will ruin you on this day. B'yom hazeh ata okar. So today you're messed up. Ata okar l'olam haba, but in olam haba you're gonna have a little bit of olam haba because you did some sort of tshuva. Meaning this world's not gonna help you, but in the next world it will help you. So if you see somebody who's leaning towards death, you go to the chayil and you tell him you're going to do vida, but don't be scared, because like we said before, you don't want anybody, you don't want to be scaring chayil. So if you do a vida, that could really freak him out, right? Sorry, I'll do is a harbe his father. I mean, this is what you say to him. Do vidui, don't worry. Harbe his father. Many people do vidui, and they get up from their sickness and they live. Harbe shaloy his father mason. There's many that don't do vidui and they die. And the schar, the reward that you're going to get for doing vidui is that you're going to live. Anybody who does vidu is going to have a chelik l'olam haba. And if he can't do vidu b'piv because he can't talk, he's father b'libay. He should do vidu with his heart. And if he can speak only a little bit. Tell me that my misa should be a kapara on all my averas. And we tell him that he should ask mechila from anybody who he did averas against, whether it was finances or whether it was verbal. You don't do this in front of women and amaratzim and young kids. Because if they're going to hear this whole process, then they may cry, and then them crying is going to be a big stress on the chayla. Right? That's why if you're going, nobody should know from it. If you're going into a room where the person's dying, there's no crying allowed. No crying allowed in that room because it might stress out the chayla. Say the Vida B'Kitzur. This is the short version of Vida. That refu is in your hand and the death is in your hand. That you should heal me refu shalem. Bim amos temi sasi kapara al kol chatoim v'avonos upshaim shechatosi v'shavisi v'shabashati v'fanecha saying chelki b'gan eden. I think this is pretty straightforward. And I should get an olam haba that is hidden and put away for tzaddikim. And if you want to extend, like do the video of Yom Kippur, Harshus B'Yadeh, then he has that you have permission to do that. Sefer Hayakar, Ma'avar Yabak, Sefer Chachmas Adam, had to Gamkin say the Ravidu Meir Ramban, and then you have Rabbeinu Yonis. There's all sorts of videos out there. So you're allowed to do whichever ones you want. Okay. That's it for the first chiluk.